Hello everyone. In this video I want to share with you my latest project in building a flip-top cart for my newly renovated wood shop. I wasn't going to do this video, in fact that's why it's already built, but it came out so good that I wanted to share it with you in case there are other people out there that want to do this. I definitely would encourage building this. It's easy. It's decently cheap, and it came out good. It is made with 3/4 inch, actually not quite 3/4 inch, pine plywood, and I think it was about $34 or $36 a sheet. Not the best plywood. There are some gaps inside the layers, and it is not perfectly straight, so the sides are a little bit cupped. But again, as a shop furniture piece, utilitarian piece is good enough. And again, it came out really nice. And I didn't design this. As you know, there's a bunch of these designs out there. But I just kind of looked at some of the other YouTube videos and picked the best features out of them all that I thought would be the best for what I need. So it's designed to have two tools, obviously, one on the top, one on the bottom. Use them one at a time. I'm going to be using my 12-inch Delta disc sander on one side, and then on the other side, I plan on purchasing the rigid spindle belt sander, which I really hate to spend. I didn't realize they cost so much money. $270 for that thing is just overpriced for my taste, considering that they have some known chronic defects. Anyways, so what I did here is some of the features that I like the best out of all of them is the fact that integrated power was the first one. So I have done that. And also the drawer, of course, underneath for all the accessories that go along with the two tools that are going to be housed over here. Wheels, of course. These are cheap, $3.46, Home Depot 2.5 inch wheels. I put casters on the front and fixed wheels in the back. Okay, so these are straight wheels that only go in one direction. And the thought is that I've built other carts that have casters all the way around, and the problem is that by just gently pushing on it, it will move. So instead, this way I don't have to spend the $10 for each wheel for the locking casters. But by having the fixed wheels in the back, yes, it moves easily this way, but it does not move when it's being pushed from the front, which is where most of the work is going to be done. The other difference here is I've purchased these latches off of eBay. So these are latches, release latches. They're a little bit on the small side, but they seem to be working pretty good. They did not come with this locking nut on the bottom here. Let me go to that. Okay, right there. So this latch here is free to spin, but I added that nut over there, and now they basically fall right in and lock right in place. The other feature that I wanted to have is the ability to have the power cord, as I said, built into the tool. And I didn't like the fact that most of the other designs require you to cut the power cord, because again, that would be an extra $3 or $4. And again, the point of this is also to make it cheap. So let me remove the top and show you what I put inside here. Okay. So this is a 2-inch pipe, and actually it's 1.5 inch PVC pipe. And the reason why I use PVC is because when I went to buy the cast iron pipes, which everybody else again uses, they were just way too expensive. I mean, this T-fitting alone was like $7. That to me is unreasonable. So a 10-foot length of pipe was $5.46, I think, and this was $2 or $3. So again, much cheaper. And again, and besides, the PVC is obviously better for electrical wires going through it, and these screws do not protrude through, of course. I initially, these are self-tapping metal screws that are just in there to hold the pipes together, so I did not glue these together. I initially put them in and then took them out again, cut the tip, and put them back down to make sure that they don't protrude through the pipe. This is held in place with a little bit of a strain relief, just a piece of rubber there to hold it down. And again, the beauty of this is that there is no need to cut the power cord. So this is an extension cord that I happen to have. I'm sure you can buy this at Home Depot. And basically, I was able to feed the plug end of the cord right through the pipe, and it comes right out and it's done. So no need to cut and add it later. And really the pivot point is right here, right? So, I mean, the pipe is rigid enough that there is not going to be a problem. The other thing that I wanted to do was to have a way to kind of lock the sides together to make sure that they don't, you know, pull apart from the flip top. And so what I did is I bought an additional fitting, PVC fitting here, cut it in half, and used one half for this side and the other half for this side. And basically I just made these little plywood rounds here where the fitting goes inside, and this kind of provides sort of a bigger surface for that to turn around, so to essentially make contact on the sidewall over here. And then this is screwed into the pipe, so essentially when you turn this, that whole assembly turns with the pipe, and it just, again, it keeps the two sides from moving apart. As you can see, again, because of the fact that the plywood is not exactly straight, it's a little bit cupped this way, it does scrape on the sides over here. I did varnish it just because I happen to have a can of this stuff in my cabinet. Again, just to give it some protection, but again, it's a shop tool. I don't really care what it looks like. So again, this scrapes a little bit on the sides, but actually I like this because this is pretty stiff from rotating. Obviously right now there is no weight on it. And my hunch is that once I put weight on it with the tool, actually two tools, right, one on top and one on the bottom, it will prevent this thing from, you know, flipping over anytime you release the latch. So I welcome that. Extra support inside here for the top. I was thinking of adding another two pieces, one over here, or 2x, just to give it some, you know, extra stability on the shelf. But again, being that this is virtually 3/4 inch plywood, it's not going to go anywhere. And there are plenty of screws that I laid out here that I pre-drilled around all the way around to make sure that wouldn't happen. Another feature, another requirement that I kind of came up with pretty quickly as I started doing this is I realized that this power cord is always laying on the ground, right? So I made this little disc that goes here, just a little 1/4 inch plywood. It screws onto this side of the thing where the cord comes out, and the cord is able to just sit there, okay? That's it, really. I mean, again, so I didn't get too fancy with joints. I just used pocket screws on the bottom side here to attach the shelf to the sidewall, pocket screws to attach this piece right here to the bottom on both sides, and then the drawer also, I use pocket screws on the outside. So again, nothing fancy at all, and there are pocket screws in the back here as well. The bottom, same material, 3/4 inch, is just simply slides inside of the drawer box itself. And then it is screwed on the side over here, and pocket screws on the bottom here. So nothing fancy, but it keeps it nice and square. 18-inch ball bearing full extension slides provides the whole thing to, you know, comes out pretty nicely. As far as measurements, that's something I can give you as well. So I made this to be 24 inches internal measurement, side to side. And I believe this is 20 inches from depth. And I made it so that the surface of the top, when it's flat of course, is 36 inches from the ground, okay? So that's including the 2.5 inch caster wheels that are on the bottom there. The drawer is 6 inches deep, okay? Right there. And the other important element that I wanted to make sure, in fact, I went to Home Depot ahead of time to measure the rigid sander. I wanted to make sure, of course, that there was enough room for whatever tool I put here. That rigid sander is about 18.5, I think, inches high. So I ended up with 21.5 inches of spacing between the top shelf and the bottom of the flip top when it's flipped over. So that should be plenty for that tool, and it should be plenty for really anything that that I might want to put here. So in conclusion, another shop furniture piece is done. The sander is in place and it's plugged in. Goes through here, plugged in inside. I didn't even bother putting in all the screws. It's nice and solid, but again, there is room for more. And it works fine. I was going to use 2 latches, one on each side, but realistically, quiet, I see that one works just fine, and you know, this is pretty solid. It's not going to go anywhere. And the other one is here for when it's flipped on the other position. Yeah, see that is a little bit too long. So that's it. So again, it was a fun project, and I'm not going to insult you going through the build process and the cut of every piece, because again, I gave you the measurements. This 2x4 pieces are cut to 3¼ inch high, so essentially just enough to remove the rounded edges of the 2x4s, and then the box is put together. I actually didn't even bother gluing the 2x4 structure nor the top shelf. This piece here is glued to the bottom. The drawer is also glued together, but the shelf is not glued, just in case in the future I need more room, maybe eliminate the drawer or whatever. And also the reason why I didn't glue this is because originally I was planning on having access to the plug through this front panel. So essentially remove the 4 screws here, take this piece out, get to the plug, and be done with it. However, I realized that basically you can do the same thing by taking the top off. So now that this tool is sitting there, that doesn't need to come off, so that's going to sit there. With the day that I need to add the tool on the bottom, all I have to do is remove the screws here and have access to the bottom, drill the hole for the cable wherever that's going to fall according to the tool that I put here, and put it back, and off you go. So you saw what it looks like inside. There's nothing fancy inside the top itself. So again, this is it, and works nice. It turns, like I said, it does scrape on the sides a little bit, so it makes it a little bit stiff to turn. But now that I have the tool on top and bolted down, it you know, if you don't hold it, it will flip on you, especially where I only have weight on one side of the shelf of the top. So hold it in place, and it flips nicely, smoothly, and power cord is plugged in, and all I need to work out is a way to connect the dust collection. I have 4-inch pipes all the way around the shop. This is 2-inch probably. So I need to have a place where I'm going to use this, probably a place like that in that corner. It'll probably sit there next to the compressor, or maybe in that other corner where I can have access to that port right there. And then of course make sure that I have an adapter for whatever goes on the bottom as well, so that I can just plug it in on and go. Otherwise, as you know, you don't end up using the dust collector if it's not readily available. So again, fun project. Go for it. It's not complicated and it's not expensive. I mean, I probably spent maybe $100 between the rails, the plywood. It does take a little bit over 1 sheet of plywood because of the bottom of the drawer, believe it or not. So if you maybe use remnants from a 1/2-inch piece, I also chose to use 3/4 inch for the back side right here to make sure that it's nice and stiff. This also has pocket screws on this top here on the sides, and then it's screwed in through the bottom with sheetrock screws down there. And by the way, the design feature here is that the top protrudes just the width of the sides, so just about 3/4 inch. On this side, it's stepped down a little bit just to be flush. And then over here, it needs to be stepped down for the whole width of the top, plus this piece over here, which is when it's turned, it ends up down here. So you do need to kind of cut this step out before you assemble this thing together. But again, basically this cut ends up being at the same height as the top of the plywood top right here. Okay, same on the other side. Okay, so just about at that profile. It's actually a little bit lower if you want it to sit nice and flush, which mine does. But again, it's not complicated. So, all right, so it was a fun project for me. It took about, I don't know, 3 days or so between waiting for things to dry and buy hardware and so on, wait for those clamps to come in, those latches to come in from eBay. But otherwise, doesn't take long, and it's, you know, like I said, definitely less than $100. All right, have fun. Bye.